Hey, thanks for joining me this afternoon. If you're new here, you're very welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, many thanks for your continued support. So, belts, yes, they are really important, and by the end of this video, you are going to have a very smooth operating machine, because we're going to touch on a few things. First of all, we're going to touch on eccentric nuts. We're going to touch on, is your gantry square? And then I'm going to show you a new technique that I've devised, which will allow you to adjust your belts, both belts, all three of them, even the gantry belt, to have exactly the right tension, and more importantly, matching tensions. Also, if you've got a similar 400 by 400 diode laser like this open frame one, your tension is going to be very, very similar to my tension. Now, I know I've got a good, smooth running machine. So when you follow these simple steps, there's no tools required. No, there are some things required, and I guarantee you've got them in your own house. If you haven't got them in your house, maybe your neighbour should have them. There's nothing technical. Okay, all we're going to use, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. We're going to use a piece of paper, a pencil and a ruler, or even a straight edge. And I'm going to use a measuring device in the video, but that's just to show you an angle. Now, you don't need one of those. I'm going to leave you a PDF and a DXF of the file, so you can cut one out of cardboard. You can cut it out of wood if you like, but cardboard's good enough because you're only going to use it once, and then you can use the cardboard for something else. And that's just going to check your tilt angle. Don't worry about what tilt angle is. It's all going to be explained in the video. Now, why is having equal tension important? Well, as I said, it's going to give you a smooth running machine. When we start playing with speed and accelerations, you're going to get exactly what I show you on the screens. You're going to start getting faster accelerations and faster cuts, which means you're going to have reduced burn time. Anyway, I really hope that this video helps a lot of people, and the only way it's going to do that is with your help. Now, I've been doing YouTube for 2 years, and I'm quite disappointed in my progress, because I was hoping to make a community of people in which they all got excited about their longer lasers and they shared information around. Not many people share my videos, but hopefully this one, as it's so important, so easy to do, you can start helping other people in your Facebook groups just by sharing this simple video. Anyway, that's the plug out the way. Let's get into the video. I'll join you at the end. See you in a few minutes. Cheers for now. Before we begin setting up the belt tension, there's a few things we need to cover, because these little things really matter. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your gantry is square to the laser frame. Now, I'm going to insert a video here. Please watch that first, and please check that your gantry is square to your frame. The way you do that, you bring the laser to the front, moving it very slowly. You put something in the gap between the frame and the module. You move it to the home position. You measure that. You move your laser head very, very slowly, no faster than that. You measure it the other side, just off the screen there. The measurement should be same, but that video shows you exactly what to do and how to adjust your gantry. That's important, first of all, because that not only will give you wonky parts, but it makes the belt run non-true, untrue in the cogs, which I'm going to show you right now. And in fact, what I do, I'll probably knock my laser out of square to show you. So let me just reset the camera. Okay, if you've got your limit switch on top of the frame, you're going to have to take that off. Now, the way you take it off is you use your fingernail and you push it on the white plug. So if I just lift you up here, to take the white plug off, you're going to use 2 fingers. I've only got 1 finger, so I'm now holding the camera, but use your fingernail and just get it there on the lip of the plug. Use your fingernail and you pull it forward. So I'm now going to use 2 hands using my fingernail, and I'm going to pull it forward. So hopefully now you can see the lip just on the edge there. That's what you do. Now before I move it, I've recorded the position of the limit switch. I put some electrical tape or masking tape behind it, so when I put the switch back on, it goes back exactly in the same place. So that is a tape I've just installed. So I'm going to get this out of the way so we don't confuse you. Okay, so what we are looking at here is the gear on the stepper motor just here. You can see there's teeth. The belt has teeth and they ride in one another. Now if I pull mine forward slowly, 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 so my laser is now touching the frame, you can see either side of my belt, you can see a slight part of the tooth there and a slight part of the tooth there. Now if I move my gantry all the way up, I just have to move the camera because I know you're going to go out shot. So I'll try and zoom in on this. So I'm moving that very, very slowly. I'm right at the back now. So that went out of shot, so I'm going to bring you up there. So the gantry's now moved 400, and you can just see either side of the black. So either side of here, you can just see the teeth. Now my gantry is square. That means that the gantry here, where the lasers go backs and forwards on, is square with the front frame. Now, go and watch that video, it's important. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mess up my laser because I want to demonstrate to you something about this. You know when you crash your laser because you're not concentrating on what you're doing, or you set your position wrongs, and all of a sudden the laser module, i.e. the head here, crashes into the frame and you hear and you think, ah, oh, bloody hell, you know, and you carry on lasering. What you need to do is look at this video and make sure you haven't knocked your gantry out of position. Now I'm going to do that now. The coupler here on the left, I'm moving it round. I need to get to these two Allen head bolts. So I'm going to flip it round a bit and I'm going to undo it. So I'm going to undo that, push my gantry out of square. Okay, so my gantry is now out of square because, let me just test how much it is. Probably 3mm out of square. The gantry, the laser is touching the gantry there. If I move it over to the right hand side, I can get a 3mm piece of MDF between the laser module and the front frame. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to unplug this stepper motor as well, because that way I've got no stepper motor, and I'm going to undo the X stepper motor. Because I'm moving the gantry all the time, it's bad practice to move the gantry manually, because the stepper motors create voltage and they backfeed into the fan module here. So if you see the fan spinning, you're moving the gantry too fast. If you see a light come on, you're definitely moving it too fast. And if you see the touch screen come on, you're lucky you haven't blown up your motherboard. Right, so I just want to move this away now. The further I push it, the tighter it's got, because the gantry is out of square. So if you look now, I've still got almost an equal gap between the belt. I've got a bit of tooth showing on the left, a bit of tooth showing on the right. Now I'm going to move the gantry forward. And already there, let me just get you, let's get rid of this, you don't need to see the ceiling. So that's not even the full way. You can see now, if I move the gantry away, try and keep you in shot, you can see here, I can see gear either side of the belt. Now I'm bringing it forward, 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 there. So about the halfway point, so on the metric here, it's about 230 the centre. The belt wants to go further to the left, and if I moved it the rest of the way forward, that's an extra 200. So you can see the belt is on the left, and on the right hand side, I won't show you that, but take my word for it, the belt is in the middle. Now all I'm going to do, I'm going to square up my gantry again. Okay, that's square. Now remember, I've unplugged my stepper motor, so I'm going to push that all the way back. You can see the belt is in the middle of the gear. Bring it forward. So you can see, I can still see gear either side of the belt. You need to check the video to get your gantry square, but it stops the belts riding too far one side of the gears. So that's an important thing to do. Okay, let's get back onto belt tension. So the test that I've come up with is really simple. You just need a piece of paper, a ruler and a pencil. So if you've got your limit switch like I had at the beginning of the video on the top, you need to remove it. Let's just bring you out a bit. So as you remember, my limit switch was here. When the limit switch is installed and it's on top of where the belt rides, the bottom nut here actually is pressing down on the belt, and it makes a difference to the test. So get a piece of A4 paper and cut off a strip, and my strip is 30mm wide. Mark the centre, then mark 2 pencil lines 40mm. So 40mm, I'll put that in inches for my American friends. Okay, then what you do, we will undo the belt, because your belts are probably too tight or too loose. So you've got the screw at the front here that I'm going to undo, and I'm going to take out just to show you you've got this nut arrangement. Now if you put the nut in the channel, and when you go to do the bolt up, if it doesn't twist round automatically, just get another Allen key. So just get another Allen key, and you can ease the nut around by using 2, so then the corners of the wings of the nut go underneath the profile. So just going to put that in, push your belt forward to loosen it, and it should come up. If it doesn't come up, just get a credit card or something, and then it'll help you hook it under the belt. So nice loose belt. Get your piece of paper that you prepared earlier, put it at 210, the centre line, and try to make sure the paper is perpendicular to the rail. Then what you're going to do, you're just going to pull the belt, making sure the centre of the paper is about 210. So 210 this way, and you've got the pencil line under the belt. Then what you're going to do, you're going to get a ruler or a straight edge, and you're going to lay that on top of the belt so the ruler balances. Now this is the most trickiest bit of the whole operation, and it's not very tricky. So all you're going to do, you're going to pull on the belt until the pencil marks are level with the ruler. So if I pull this now, you'll see the wings of the paper come up. You see that flapping like a seagull? So all I'm going to do, now I'm doing this one-handed. I'm right-handed, and I'm adjusting this belt with my left hand because I need my right hand to do the screw up. So I'm pulling the belt. You can now see the pencil marks are level with the ruler, and I'm just going to do the screw up. Now don't worry, you can see that the papers come up one maybe 2mm, but the pencil lines are roughly in line with the ruler. I think you can see that. So there. So there's my pencil mark there, and it's in line with the ruler, and that's the belt tension set. So you would do that on the other side, which I won't show you because it's exactly the same. So I also did the same on the gantry. This time I pushed the module all the way to the right. I undid my belt. I put the piece of paper in the middle of the gantry, and I did the same thing. So I got the same tension. So I put my paper under the belt, put my ruler on there, I gently pulled the belt for the wings to come up, so the two pencil marks at 40mm were about level with the ruler. So the next test, or the next thing you need to check, is your eccentric nuts. I put a card in the window now. I explain in detail how to do the eccentric nuts, but it's essential that you have these adjusted properly, because if they're too tight you could get flat spots on your wheels. So the way to test that, if you get up in the morning and let's say your laser it's parked there overnight. It's all in the video, but I'm just going to explain to you what a flat spot is. The wheels take about 50mm, 5 centimeters or 2 inches to rotate one revolution. So this is a carriage of a 3D printer. So there's a wheel, and just in here is an eccentric nut, but it's all in the video. So if you get hold of your laser module and you slowly move it in left or right, it doesn't matter. If you move it like this and you get to about there, so you've traveled 2 inches, 5 centimeters, and you feel like a bump, that means you've got a flat spot because your eccentric nut is too tight. Similarly, if you get your gantry and you move it 50mm, 2 inches, and you feel a bump or a notch, again, that's the flat spot, turning one revolution and coming back to where it was touching the V slot. So what you need to do, watch that video, use your spanner and adjust the eccentric nuts. To check my eccentric nuts in the morning, I would come down, and part of my startup routine, I just move this very slightly, I don't feel a bump. I move this very slowly, I don't feel a bump. I know my eccentric nuts are set correctly. So what else can we do? Okay, the tilt test. What's the tilt test, I asked? So you're going to bring your laser slowly forward to the front of the module. I've got a set square here and it's set to 10 degrees. It doesn't matter on my laser here, I've got my extended leg system, so that allows me to load material from the front. It doesn't matter what you're doing now, and if you haven't got one of these, there'd be a PDF in the description below where you can print off, or you can burn a 15-degree angle, or cut a triangle. All you're going to do, you're going to pick up your laser, and hopefully, let me bring that to the front, if you've adjusted your belts properly and you've adjusted your eccentric nuts properly and it's in good maintenance order, if you pick up your module, by the time the module gets to 15 degrees, you can see my module is moving. I'm going to tilt it higher now, but you can see if you look at the right hand edge, you can see that the right hand edge is somewhere around 15 degrees. Now I've seen other videos saying, yeah, tilt it at 45 degrees. Now I'll show you what 45 degrees is. Now I can only do this because I've unplugged my stepper motors, because if it's going to roll away fast, because we're going to tilt it at such an angle, so my stepper motors will not be generating electric. There's 45. You're not going to be able to see that. Look, 45 degrees is like this, so it means that the laser module is going to be, can you see that? Yeah, 45 degrees. So let me hold that there roughly straight with my work surface, and then they say bring it up 45 degrees. That's up there. So 45 degrees is way too much. Even 30 degrees. Let me show you what 30 degrees is. I'll set this to 30 degrees. Let me kneel on the floor. Okay, I'm going to hold that there. I won't be in the way, hopefully. I'm going to lift that up 30 degrees. I'm going to try and lift it up square because it's important. You can see how fast that has rolled. Now, if your stepper motors were connected, there's a high chance that you would back voltage into your fan, and your fan would be spinning and the power lights would come on. That's why I disconnected them. Anyway, I now consider that my laser is adjusted properly. We've got belts that are running evenly on the gears of the stepper motor. We've adjusted our eccentric nuts. We've got the gantry parallel with the frame, and it rolls nice and easy, and when I move it I don't feel the notch in when I've moved it 2 inches. So now I need to put my limit switch back on, so all I'm going to do is put that back in. This is awkward, so I'm going to push the little nut around. I'm going to push it down onto my tape there. I'm going to do that back up. That's it. Put my plug back in to make sure my limit switch will work. Plug the other stepper motors back in, and then you can carry on lasering. Anyway, I think if you follow those instructions, we'll all be singing from the same piece of paper, because the piece of paper I used is paper I use out of my inkjet printer. So I think it's 80-gram inkjet paper, but I'll put that on the screen. So just general photocopy paper, inkjet paper, that's what I used. Don't use like notebook paper, like out of a spiral bound book, because that's not stiff enough. You need the sort of paper the same stiffness as I've used, so you can get the same sort of test that I've got. Let me know in the comments below whether you found your belt really tight or really loose, and tell me whether you think this test has worked for you. So the good thing is, even if I move the module here, again I don't have to pick it up far, and you can see it's rolling, and it rolls the whole distance, and you can see that's not much of an angle. 10 degrees there. Move it back. I can move it fast because it's not plugged in, so you can see. Let's see what I've got. Yeah, so that's around 10 degrees. Hey, so you made it to the end of my video. Well, I hope you found that was actually quite easy, and I'll be really interested to know whether your belts were exceptionally tight or exceptionally loose, and I'll be really interested to know about what tilt angle you had. You know, were you up by 45 degrees, or were you nearer 30 degrees and then down towards the 10 degrees as I show? I'll be really interested to know that, just so I can get a gauge of how many people I am helping getting a smooth running machine and not destroying their stepper motors by having exceptionally tight belts. Anyway, I think this is my last video before Christmas Day, so I hope you've got some value out of it. If you have, please like and comment down below, and if I've really earned your trust and respect, perhaps those of you that aren't subscribed, and there's 84% of you out there, perhaps you would consider subscribing. Anyway, that's Andy, wishing you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating, wherever you're celebrating Christmas Day. Make sure you give your loved ones a hug and tell them that you love them, because you never know what's around the corner. Anyway, that's Andy signing off as ever, wishing you a perfect afternoon. Continue to make that happy, safe smoke, and perhaps you'll join me in my next video. Cheers for now. Thank you for making it to the end of my videos, much appreciated. If you like what I'm doing and I've earned your trust and respect, perhaps you would consider subscribing. If you leave a comment, I will answer them as well, and if you give me a thumbs up, it will put a smile on my face. Perhaps you would like some of the videos popping up now. See you in the next one.